Welcome to another edition of Coach's Collection. This week we have for you Lieutenant Yezveth, the Ever-Moving Crook. Now, this deck is very special because what does it have? Oh, it's Mass Mutation, but that's not what makes it special. That's just what it is. What is special is in this it has dun da da da. What's that? What's that? It's a Maverick Fandangle, that's right. This deck is badass because it has a Maverick Fandangle in disc, which means if the Ember is right, Fandangle comes into play ready. And there is quite a few creatures in here that come into play ready along with it. I'll show you the rest of the makeup of this. So we got in disc these fantastic cards here. Stirring Grave is a huge candidate for just putting Fandangle back, like straight up. That's how I use it. Just get Fandangle back again. It's got a Maleficorn as well with a bunch of pips, which is nice. And then when we go over to Saurians, we have the Chant of Hubris. Ludo's always nice. Double Centurion, Ancient Power, Siren's Horn, Double Stomp, and a Tertiate. Tertiate actually puts in a lot of work with this deck. I played this in the ABR League, and it did things, I'll tell you what. And then it has, of course, a Sacrosaurus and an Umbrasaurus, which we'll come back around to why those are relevant later. Has a great Ghost Talk, which I love, with a Pismire, Rapid Evolution, a little Artifact Control, Song of the Wild with Ghost Talk. That's why I like this. Double Growth Surge, which is really key for making Pismire and Fandangle stick around, as well as potentially using it on your Anguish to allow it to get more damage. Keys cost more. Has Lumilu, Niflgrounds, Trimble, Vault's Blessing, and of course, not of course, but it has a Mercy Malkin, which is really nice because Catplay enters ready and friendly beast creatures. So for beast creatures, this does happen to have a couple. Beyond that, it has the Galeotops, it has Ghost Hawk, and that's about it. And then you got Lumilu to activate all those things and get that extra Ember, which is really nice. So yeah, there's just the one for the Mercy Malkin, but it works well because ready a friendly beast creature. It's basically you're using the Lumilu, but there's some nice combos with that. Now the Vault's Blessing, this has got to be one of probably my favorite card in Mass Mutations is Vault Blessing, but the reason why it's so tight is because look at this. Mutants, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you got 9 mutants with a Vault's Blessing and Pismire, as you saw. So all those things contribute to just fantastic ongoings with the mutant trait. So I'm loving it. The double Dark Minion is super nice. It just provides that great ability to pop. Mindfire is always fun. Snoret, again, always a great card. The Stirring Grave, like I said, I use Fandangle mostly, but there's actually a lot of candidates that make Stirring Grave really handy in this deck that I use under various situations. But Fandangle is the main candidate. The Theros Centurions are great with the Siren's Horn because that's where the Ember is. So not are you fighting, capturing, or putting it on. There's just so many great things that attribute the Siren's Horn, and then you got an Ancient Power to go with it. Stomps, again, you can exalt if that happens. So you, again, Siren's Horn all comes together. These are really nice. They're just more spot removal. There's so much damage that can be done. Like, this deck really controls the board really nicely. There's the Gleeful Mayhem as well if you want to get a little more into it. And then, of course, Wail of the Damned. So there's all these ways of just going into creatures and causing havoc. The Tertiate is so crucial to making that work. I use it very, very well in this deck, and it's a lot of fun. Again, Rapid Evolution, putting more +1 power counters on those really important creatures like Pismire, Anguish, or Fandangle. Those are always the candidates for that, never anyone else unless there's no other targets. And you just make those creatures big. Like this deck just gets those things out there and they put in work. It's fantastic. The cool thing is that the deck doesn't actually run where, there's a main house. You kind of just work with what you have because there's such a nice distribution. I find that Untamed can be called sometimes. Actually, I would say almost Untamed is called the least because it's kind of a house where you just get the cards out and you don't worry about it too much. You're using it more of like a burst. But between the dinos and discs, you're kind of calling those houses over and over again. Especially with Fandangle, that's what you're getting the value from. So you can do some really cool things. I love the Stirring Grave Fandangle because normally with Fandangle you play it and then you wait a turn before you utilize it. But because it's a Maverick and disc, the turn you play it, you're almost always utilizing it right away. And I'm thinking of plays to make that happen. So sometimes I'll literally just Stirring Grave the Fandangle and then call Saurian next turn or something and get my Ember up and then play Fandangle and go from there. Like there's a lot of really cool things. The fun thing about Fandangle as well is that you can put yourself in check, and by your opponent taking you off check, it's actually just activating Fandangle when you pull it from your archive. So you can really just have that moment where you're in check. If they don't take you off check, you forge a key. If they do take you off check, you're going to burn them with Fandangle and go real high. So a lot of fun things in this deck. I have so much fun playing it. I kind of didn't think about it too much. It's been in my collection box, but I didn't think about it too much until I selected it for ABR. I can't remember what's the reason why. I think it was for adaptive I chose it, and it just it did work. Like it was so much fun to play. No, this wasn't my adaptive deck, but still, I played it in ABR for some reason. I don't remember what it was. It might have been a Saskap, and it was so much fun. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I would 100% play it more regularly now. It's becoming one of my absolute favorite decks because of that Maverick Fandangle. It just does cool things. So check this out on stream this week. That's Lieutenant Yezaveth, the ever-moving crook. And don't forget to become a Patreon supporter if you want to win some decks that I'm opening this month. We're going to do one opening because I need to get my Patreon supporters up. I need some more people to be contributing. Just because, it's not because I want the money, it's because the cost of shipping is actually high. I want to give these decks away. I would love to be giving away one a week each month. So 4 decks a month would be the ideal situation. But once I hit that threshold of monetary earnings where that is offsetting the cost of shipping, I will be able to do that and give away a lot of decks because I want to do that and I want to give that to all y'all. So please, if you like what I'm doing, go check out my Patreon, support me. I appreciate it. Love it. You guys are the best. And if you just want to comment and share this on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, that's also great as well. Any support is always appreciated. But I want to give these decks away, so become a Patreon supporter. And as always, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.